If you could just start with a selfie video and just introduce yourself. And Nolan Schanuel here, and this is Under the Halo podcast.
Hey, what's up? This is Nolan Schanuel here, and this is Under the Halo podcast. I can do better than that. Hello, this is Nolan Schanuel here, and this is Under the Halo podcast.
I think that's the best take we've had yet.
The second one's better, yeah.
Of anything. I think that's the best one that we got going to this point, because we've had the guys up here, and it's been fun seeing the Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Mike Trout dynamic, and they all have said kind of the same thing. They have fun with you.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear, and I think sometimes that it may be at your expense.
Yeah.
But they seem to think that you don't mind that. Is that, do I have the right read on that?
100%, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Last week we had, when Logan was up here, because I was actually giving Mike and Logan a hard time, saying you guys kind of bully Nolan a little bit, and he's like, it'd be like Johnny Washington just putting it on a tee for us. You make it too easy. Is that kind of, are you just the fun guy? Let these guys have a good time and I play along with the joke?
Yeah, 100%. I think I play into it a little bit. Sometimes I'll set up a joke for them to kind of, I'll be their punching bag sometimes, but also I'll dish it out as well.
Have you dished anything on Mike Trout at this point?
I think a couple digs, nothing too big. I think the biggest guy I go after is Neto. If I can get a dig on Neto, I go after.
Okay, so what's the best way to go about getting at Neto?
Oh, it depends. Honestly, it depends on the city we're at. Is there one you can share? I would say 2 days ago we were in New York and he got 2 hits the night before, and he's all ecstatic, around the locker room, and O'Hoppe calls him out. He's like, "Hey, Net, would you be like this if you got no hits?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." So just how the baseball gods work, that day he gets no hits. We get a win, but he wasn't as ecstatic as the day before. And O'Hoppe and I went up to him and we're like, "What's going on today? Where's that fire you brought yesterday?" And we kind of needled it out of him. And I mean, it's all fun and games.
I'm glad somebody can keep Zach Neto in check. Somebody has to.
You have to.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of policing in that clubhouse to keep Zach from getting out of hand. I love the vibe of this group. This is a fun group. Okay, you have to help me out with something, and I've always wondered this: the first base conversation when a player reaches, and you're chatting them up. Who are some of the fun guys to talk to around the league that you talk to?
It's hard. Honestly, it depends on how many times they get on first that day.
Sure.
So, or if they play first and I get on first base, I tend to talk to the first baseman a lot more.
Then they talk to you.
Then, I would say if they're whoever's playing first that day.
Because you're running into each other more.
Yes, a lot more.
Sure.
I've talked Freddie, really good guy, fun to talk to. There's a lot of guys.
Is it ever contentious, or is it always really, or is it always kind of in good fun?
Always good fun. Always good fun. No, I don't think any bad talk, anything ever at first base. Even yesterday, bench is clear. Cooper gets on first base. Pena gets on first base, and we're laughing, having a good time. No bad blood.
See,
at first
I've
base.
always but I've wondered the dynamic of that and that that probably, I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're first coming up and you're, hey, it's my 4th game in the big leagues. You're not going to go chat up Freddie Freeman, or maybe you would, but now that you got a little service time now, you've been at this for a minute. Now it's whoever comes up, let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I think when I first got called up, it was more like, "Yo, what's up?" Now, kind of take a little how's the family, or if we have if I worked out with them in the off season, or catch up a little bit.
There's a real relationship.
Yeah, 100%. It all depends on the player, obviously, but we can talk about fishing. We could talk about if they have a dog. The conversation can go anywhere.
Okay, well, hold on. We gotta stop everything. Now, I was so excited to talk fishing with you because I know nothing about it, and I know you are a very avid fisherman,
Yes.
a fly fisherman at that, correct?
Not a fly fisherman.
Oh, okay. So I had bad info. Our research department let me down here, so that's unacceptable, actually. Okay, so what's the fishing approach? Like, how do you go about it? Like, what kind of fishing do you do? Where do you like to go? What are you looking for?
I'm a big saltwater fisherman.
Yeah. All right. You're a good spot for that.
Very good spot. I'm more of a fisherman in Florida.
Sure.
So.
Oh yeah, because you have so much free time during the baseball season in Southern California.
Yeah. See, I've only fished one time in this season, and it was in Tampa on our off day.
There you go. There you go.
But big saltwater fisherman. I'll go inshore for like snook, tarpon, fish like that, and then I'll go offshore, depending if we're in the Keys or if I'm at home. We'll go sailfish, tuna, mahi. Depending, honestly, it depends if we're going for the game, like just catch and release, or if we're going for dinner. So
okay, so if we're going for dinner, because now that's a language I understand a little bit. I know getting some tuna. I know getting mahi. That's my world there. Okay, who prepares it, or do you know? Like, do you clean them out? Do you take care of that? Is that your deal? You can do that.
Usually I'm the one who does it.
Wow.
But if I go with a buddy and it's his boat, or like he supplied the spot, then it's courtesy for him to do the cleaning and preparing.
I like learning fishing etiquette.
Yes.
This is excellent.
So if I invite somebody on my boat or my spot, I clean, I cook, I do. If it's vice versa, they do all the cleaning and cooking.
Is this something that you've always been into, or is it kind of like recent-ish?
Yeah, no, I've always been a big fisherman. Growing up with my dad, we fished a lot lakes, more than anything growing up. But once I kind of got a taste of saltwater fishing, lake fishing is not the same anymore.
So when you get drafted and you get your signing bonus, is a boat very high up on the priorities of what that's going to be?
It was. I actually, that was the first thing I wanted to buy. And it, like, with the season, it didn't work out. So this off season, that will be the first purchase when we get home.
I've always wanted a boat, but I know I would have no idea what to do with it. And I'd go once, and it'd be the most fun time I could ever have, and then I think it would sit in the dock or storage for another like 4 years before I go in.
Yeah.
That's my concern, but I don't think that's an issue for you.
I think it happens with a lot of people, honestly. Knowing a lot of people growing up, they get it, loved it for a month, and used it once a year after that.
Sure.
But
I mean, that can happen. Okay, so do you have like a prize catch? Is there something that you've caught that you want to brag about while we have all Angel fans watching this right now?
I've caught a couple of sailfish over 150 pounds before.
Dang.
So pictures. So I have
walk me through how it played out. Tell me. I need the story.
We were kite fishing.
What is kite fishing?
So this is a little complicated. So we did 3 rods.
Okay.
You send a kite out, and each section, your line is connected. So your line's connected to the top, middle, and lower part of the kite. And then you have a bobber, so you make sure the fish is always on top of the water, and you have to keep track of it. So you're letting line out, you're reeling up. So you want it, it's mostly like top water.
Okay.
You want the prey to see a fish struggling on the top of the water, and it could take a while, it could take minutes. So you're constantly on the reel and making sure it's in the water. And once you see the fish come up, or sailfish came up in that instance, grab the bait, the line will de-hook from the kite, and then it's just a fight from there.
See, but this is great. So 150 pounds. Now I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I don't need to go to my workout today. I can go out in the water and I can justify, hey, look, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting my work in. Come on, that's tougher than anything we can do in the gym. Have you taken any teammates out?
Yes. Well, this year I was supposed to take a couple guys out in Tampa, but we got in really late, so they didn't want to wake up.
Yeah.
But this off season, there's going to be a couple guys who are going to come out.
I like that we've now gotten to a point where Nolan Schanuel is bagging on guys for not waking up, because I know you are the notorious not a morning guy.
Yes. I mean, it's hard during the season every day, like especially like after a game, like especially last night, extra inning game, adrenaline's going, and I mean, I get home and I'm expected to go to bed right away, which is never the case for me.
No.
I can't. My heart's still pumping, my blood's still going, so it takes me about 2 hours to go to bed, and then.
How do you unwind? Like, do you like? Is it watching a show? Is it like just chilling? Like, how do you unwind?
Usually it's a movie. Yeah. If I want to go to bed before a 90-minute movie or that, I'll put on a TV show or just watch something on YouTube.
Well, for me, I mean, if I put on a 2-hour movie, it's 15 minutes. I'm out.
Really?
That's the best thing for me is if I put on even if it could be my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And we're done. That's how that works. But I'm an old man. You got years before you get to me.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I think if I put a movie on, I got to finish it.
Okay, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. That makes a lot of sense. So, last night, so we're taping this, just let everybody a little behind the scenes here. We're taping this the day of your bobblehead day.
Yeah.
There was the extra innings affair last night. I was out, we did the 5K this morning that everyone did. By the way, I finished 634th in case anyone was wondering. So I'm very proud of that accomplishment. But you got a bobblehead night tonight. I know that like by now everyone's already received the bobblehead, but just how cool is it the fact that like you have a Nolan Schanuel bobblehead? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is something like when you're a kid, you look like it's a dream, you know? Have a lot of family out here. So a couple friends came out for the occasion, so pretty hectic in that standpoint. And I mean, everyone back home's kind of asking for one and trying to get
how many do you have to come up with now, you think?
I think I have to go home with at least 30.
Yeah.
And that's not including I have 12 people here today, so.
Okay, so we're talking 40 plus
Yeah.
bobbleheads. That's actually not that bad.
It's not I mean, not compared to like.
There's some that I think are probably asking for over 100.
Yeah, I think hearing like the Christian Moore and Kyron Paris, how many tickets they had to get for a game in their hometown was a lot crazier than what.
Man, you just brought up something that's amazing. Christian Moore debuts at Yankee, or not, I mean, he debuted in Baltimore, but hometown, Brooklyn guy, Yankee Stadium. Now you got to come up with a bunch of Yankee tickets. It's a tough ask. That's not easy to get.
Those are $100 tickets?
Yeah.
For the I mean, I think he played for free that week.
I'm sure.
So
yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that we have to, as players, have to pay for the tickets, and it adds up. It does.
well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have 100 family members coming out to a game, and he's been in the big leagues for 4 minutes. Christian Moore is interesting because he is yet another in this line of Angels that get drafted and they're up very fast. Nobody has gotten up in 40 days like you. Like this is you're like an anomaly here. But are you able to give Christian like advice for how to handle some of the stuff when you really don't have hardly any minor league experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just gave him the advice that I thought, like, if I could go back and tell myself what I needed to hear, I told him exactly that. And it's a tough road, especially the first couple weeks, not knowing. I mean, when you get to the locker room, you don't even know where the stadium is. Like, you don't know where the field is, you don't know where to park, you don't know half the stuff that you need to know when you first get here. And for him, like, I played with him in 2022 in Cape Cod, so I knew kind of like his pregame routines there and stuff like that, and just talking like what we do on a daily basis, where we have to be, the hidden rules that every MLB team has. And I think that was the biggest part for me, was not knowing most of those hidden rules and kind of having
probably learning some of them the hard way.
Yeah. 100%.
So at the same time, like, here you are a couple of years now into this. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but it seems like you have totally owned kind of who you are as a player, what you want to be. How do you feel like confidence-wise, where you're at, where you think you want to be at some point? How would you describe maybe where you feel like you're at as a major league player at this point?
Yeah, I mean, right now, as like my role as the two hitter or just like I say the setup guy.
Yeah.
Neto does a great job of getting on base. If he gets on first base, my job is to move him hopefully to third base, first to third. If not, just get him into scoring position and make it a lot easier for Trouty, when Yo-Yo's healthy, T-Ward, just guys like that to rack up RBIs and get a run on the board, which, I mean, the more runs you score, the better. So I think that's kind of where I saw my role this year compared to last year, where I was in Neto's spot where I was trying to get on base for those guys. Or it could have been the same circumstance if the 9-hole was leading off. And so I think as of right now, being the 2-hole, that's my job. But if I get moved up and down the lineup, I think your job is never set in stone. I mean, you have to be able to be flexible throughout the lineup. I know last year I was moving up. I was 6 sometimes, 5 sometimes, and my role would change almost every day if that was the case. But when I'm set in stone right now at the 2-hole, I know what I need to do to help the team win.
One thing that I really appreciate about what you bring in that 2 spot, it's a quality at bat every time. You might not get a hit, but it's a quality at bat. And I talk about this all the time of guys on this team. I don't know that there's anybody that's given you as many quality at bats, working counts, just being a nightmare for a pitcher. And I think that there's such value in that. Is that part of the mentality? Is that part of the approach for what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I think no matter where I would be in the order, I think that would kind of be what you're getting from me. Whether it's see a lot of pitches, make a guy just honestly make the pitcher work for an out. That's my goal to do every time I get to the plate. If I get into one and get an extra base hit, double or homer, that's just even more added to it. But if I could get his pitch count up, draw a walk, or flare a single somewhere, that's also doing a good job. I mean, ultimately, it's just you versus the pitcher in that singular moment of the game. So I love to compete, and I think that's the best way that I can compete is go up and give a quality at bat.
You ever find yourself chasing homers?
I would say my first year, yes.
Yeah.
This year, I don't think I've even thought about it. There's been a couple times where I just missed a homer, and I was.
Well, there was a couple, one extremely famous one in particular.
Yeah, and that hurts a little bit more. But I don't think I never go up trying to hit a home run. So, but yeah, there's been one really, really painful one this year, and there's been a couple that I was like, that hurts, but not as bad as that one.
Okay, so you get robbed on a spectacular catch. I'm sorry to bring it up, but here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. In the moment, okay, he got me. Like, how ticked are you later? Like, man, that should have had that. Should have been a homer.
Yeah, I think I hit it, and I knew I hit it good enough for it to be a homer, and just kind of a half jog, like somewhat hustle, and I got past first base, and I see him Spider-Man on the wall, and I'm like, all right, he might be doing that just for show. Like a lot of guys kind of do it just to.
You had just played a series with a center fielder that does that all the time.
Yeah, Julio, and seeing him do that, I'm like, all right, he's just doing it just to kind of show that he can maybe catch a, I don't know. And then.
So you didn't think he caught it?
I didn't, I thought he was just doing it for for giggles, you know? And then seeing him come down and celebrate, because honestly I didn't even see the catch right away. Tough angle from first base, but I see him celebrating. I'm like, there's no way. I get to second and I stop and I'm like, is he like he could be just like playing a joke, you know? A lot of guys hidden ball joke around with that stuff, and seeing him come up with it, I was in shock. Best play I've ever seen, ever for me, especially in person. I've never seen a play like that in person. But
I'm with you. it's also like I actually spent some time. I went back and I went through some like all-time great catches. There's some really good ones in Angels history. Obviously, Trout's had a couple.
Yeah.
Vernon Wells had one. Gary Matthews Jr. had one. Jim Edmonds. There have been Torrey had a bunch. Kenny Lofton, I know, had some. There's some amazing ones, but that was pretty darn good. So I'm sorry to bring up a sore subject that you're on the wrong side of that one, but still, I feel like at least the numbers are starting to reflect that your approach has been, let me just make contact. Let me be a nightmare at bat. Let me move guys over. Do you feel like the situational hitting that obviously you bring to the 2-hole is something that maybe can translate to other guys up and down the lineup for what you guys are trying to do in different situations?
100%. I think a lot of times when we have a guy on third base with less than 2 outs, we chase the hit too often instead of ultimately sacrificing your at bat for a guy to get in, whether it is to put a soft ground ball in play or hit a fly ball, sac fly. And I think with my game being like a high contact guy, I'm usually pretty good at those situations. And I think when you get into a situation like that, you kind of have to get your pitch early. You don't want to see too many and get behind, but you also don't want to chase. So I think throughout the lineup, we tend to do a good job in those situations, but I think that we could do a better job and stuff like that. I think we could walk more. That's another thing. We might be bottom tier in walks, but that's stuff we could work on, and I mean we can only get better.
You had you tried to have almost like a push bunt when they shifted hard on you the other night. I've seen you a couple times do this. Is that something like almost to send a message like you're not shifting on me? Like if you want to do that, then I'm gonna go get my hit and I'll just bunt down. And take that?
I did it in New York. And it worked out a lot better than last night. So last night, it was pretty tough, but I think. But
the idea, like I know you're not always going to execute 100% of the time. The idea and the thought process, I think that a lot of times is what's important.
Yeah, I think it'll help also because it'll make that third baseman have to play pretty much up until 2 strikes, which can open up a hole for me later in the game when there's a guy on second base, and that'll get an extra run in for the game. Or even in that situation, it was 2-2, 7th or 8th inning, get a guy in first base to start an inning, and who knows what can happen there with Trout behind me and T. Ward, and my job is to start innings. So if the opportunity comes like that, then I'm gonna try my best to do so.
I understand. I'm preaching to the choir right now, but here's something that nobody talks enough about: first base defense. It does not get enough play. Nobody talks about first base defense, and it's so important. And now I'm pleased to be sitting next to the king of pop-ups, dubbed by your skipper, Ron Washington, who said this about you, that you have become this guy. That ball's in the air, you're going to get it. Nolan, it's amazing your approach and how things have changed for you in a pretty short amount of time. What was some of the difference that's happened there? What kind of work did you do to get to be like, you are the king of pop-ups?
Yeah, I think when I first came up, I was a little timid to go after as many as I like. Now, if the ball's in the air, I want to catch it. I don't care if I'm calling off whoever, Simo if he's at second, or Hoppy or Trav if they're behind the plate. If it's up, I trust myself in catching. I mean, I think at first I was kind of like I said, timid, scared, didn't want to call off the guy who had 5 or 6 years of service time ahead of me, and now it's my job to make a play when the opportunity arises. So I think it's pretty cool that Skip gave me that.
Well, you had an amazing over-the-shoulder one. I guess that was last night too. I guess a lot happened last night. But there was a play earlier in the season, maybe about a week or 2 ago, where it was a pop-up back behind home plate, and Logan was pretty adamant, like, I got it. And you were like, no, you don't. It's like, I am taking this baseball. I think to have that confidence, I think it's a total reflection, of service time, but I think also a reflection of the work. I mean, I don't think people have realized how much work you've put in to be at that level where it doesn't matter who you are, I'm going to call you off to go catch this baseball.
Yeah, and I think for a catcher, that's the hardest thing for them to do, a pop-up straight up, because you really never know which way it's going to go. And us as infielders, we're always coming in on it. They have either way, so it's harder for them. So I think with an opportunity like that came up the other night, it's a lot easier for me to catch that ball than for him. So, and he loves, I think last year in Miami, early in the season, I caught a ball and he gave me a hug after. He's like, "Thank you." Like I didn't know I didn't know if I was going to catch that or not. So it helps them out a lot, because it's a lot less stressful for them to let me catch it than.
And that's just not even to get into how much an infield can feel better when you just send the ball anywhere over to first base and go get there. Who are some of the guys that, like, were there other players you spent time with in the offseason, whether it be defense, whether it be hitting? Who are some of the players now that you'd spend time with? Maybe try to learn, like older guys, try to learn from them.
Well, this offseason, or I guess 2 off seasons ago, I was with Goldie a lot. Learned a lot from him, and just he's like one of the greatest first basemen.
How does that come together?
So
do you call up Paul Goldschmidt?
Jerry Nairn, actually, he's like, "Hey, there's this place. I want you to work out this off season." I was actually already going to work out there, which was awesome, and find out Goldie was working out there, and honestly, it was just a time adjustment where I think I had to work out an hour earlier than normal, and it worked out perfectly. And then we go out, hit, take ground balls after we worked out, and whether it was just talking the game or like learning routines, stuff like that, his base running, his like defense, like he puts so much time into his game that a lot of people don't even notice. Like he's got over 100 stolen bases, like just a total like ninja on the bases. Like the other day in New York, last inning, Rengifo throws me a ball up the line, I jump, and he's sliding into first base to avoid the tag. Like a lot of people just look past that, which is crazy, because if things do work out that inning for them and he scores, the game's totally different, and it's just it's not appreciated enough in this game at all.
Well, we see you now. I mean, you're stealing bases. No one's going to confuse you with being a track star, Nolan. I don't mean
no.
I think you could probably beat my 6:34 in the 5K, but I don't think by much. But your ability to steal bases and read different situations, is that something you take pride in?
100%. I think for me, I'm not stealing a base because of my speed at all. It's because I notice something either in the pitcher or in the catcher that will give me that extra half a second of time to get to the bag, and I think that's just being a smart baseball player. You don't always have to be like the track star or the power guy. Like the best way I describe my game is I'm a good baseball player. Like I know like so much about the game that a lot of people don't realize, kind of IQ wise, that I can pick up when I need to steal a bag. The timings, it sucks to say, but like grips, like stuff like that, like just little
attention
stuff.
to detail.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what separates a lot of times. You know, there's occasionally freak athletes that they're just going to be great no matter what they do. But guys are generally able to get to the next level and stay in this game because of what you're talking about, the baseball IQ, the attention to detail. Have you always been that kind of a player, or is that something that's come in time?
I think once I got to college, it was a lot more geared towards learning baseball IQ. I think in high school it was just you go out and you play. Yeah. For us, like, we were a really good high school team, and we were just good because we knew how to play baseball. We were really good. like as a team, we grew up together, we had good team chemistry, but once we got to college and you're playing with a bunch of guys throughout the state, throughout the country, and you're actually learning so much more about the game, that's kind of like where it clicked for me on like just the little things that can help you win baseball games.
Who are your favorite players to watch as a kid?
I grew up, obviously, like everybody loves Trouty. I grew up watching Trouty.
That's not you can't pick Trout.
David Ortiz was a big guy for me. Cody Ross was a big guy for me that a lot of people don't even know.
No, hold on. That is, by the way, that is the most beautiful answer, because if Nolan Schanuel can be something in between Cody Ross and David Ortiz, that's a heck of a ball player.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good for a long time.
I think that's the crazy thing is, like, Cody Ross was a baseball player.
Yeah.
High IQ baseball player. And I think I just loved to watch him because, like, I was a student of the game. Like, I love to watch I go to Marlins games when I could, spring training games all the time. And watching Cody Ross, and just a very high IQ baseball player, knew the game in and out. And like, you can ask, you probably could ask Simo and he wouldn't even know who he is as a baseball player. Like, am I saying that Simo doesn't watch baseball? Not at all. Like, he definitely watched baseball growing up, but I'm saying...
I 100% know what you're saying. I think our fans get it as well. At the same time, I think it's just a fascinating example of what you're picking up on. And again, going back to the kind of the attention to detail and how important all of that stuff is. I get the sense, Nolan, you're just a baseball junkie. Like, do you watch? Are you watching the whole league? Are you watching everybody all the time?
I would say, being on the West Coast, I watch a lot of East Coast games.
Right.
Because it's on in the locker room before the game. I watch a lot of baseball before, but if we're like post game and there's a game on still on the West Coast, it's hard to watch, especially after we get done with the game. But
but when you're on the East Coast and the West Coast games aren't. Do you have the ability to sit and watch the game like, oh, I'm going to take this in as a fan? Boy, I wonder what Seattle's going to do here. Or is it, oh no, I'm picking up a tendency? Like, are you always on?
Like, when I watch baseball, I'm always, like, even the College World Series, like, just little things. Like, a guy gets walked and he's looking over twice every time. I'm like, all right, if he doesn't steal on the second look, he's gonna be out. Like, just stupid, like, literally, it's stupid stuff like that I pick up on. Or if he's like raising his glove too high on curveballs, like, it's hard to turn off. Once you're in the game of baseball, it's like, when you watch it, I still feel like I'm in the game. So it's weird in a sense, but I think a lot of guys kind of have that tendency.
Nolan, this is the biggest compliment I can give. Nolan Schanuel, baseball player.
Baseball player.
Nolan Schanuel, baseball player. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
The stuff you guys pick up on blows me away.